Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and the ear bleeding warning is in effect. So if you're a regular to this channel, you know what this is all about. If you're new here, well, we're about to cover an audio tool, and I am specially skilled when it comes to audio in that I will make your ears bleed. If you have pets in the room, please dismiss them before continuing on this video. I do not want to do undue harm to poor animals out there. So what we're looking at today is Surge XT. This is a free and open source hybrid synthesizer. I hate saying that word, so from this point on, it's going to be a synth. It's basically a computer way of recreating just about any sound you could imagine. If you are using a DAW of any kind, you're probably also using some kind of a synth to go with it. Surge XT actually started life as a commercial project. Once upon a time, this was called Vember Audio. It was a commercial project until I think 2019. It was open sourced, and now it is Surge XT. Now, version 1.0 was just released with Juice support. I'll get back to what that means in just a minute. But now let's start with the ear bleeding portion of this video. So here you see, this is Reaper. You can use any DAW of choice that supports VSTs, which is pretty much most of them. And what I'm going to do is start a new track. So start a new track, virtual instrument on a new track like so, and you're just going to locate it somewhere over here. So you've got the VST3 version or the Audio AU. This will only be on the Mac side of things. I'll use the AU version here. So we're just going to add it in and yeah, let it create the two scene setups. So you see here, this is Surge in action. Over here, you can see the controls it's set up for us, scene A and B. And now what I'm going to do is go back over here, and this is where it starts getting a bit painful. So I'm going to turn this down here. I'm going to go from, say, 120 beats per minute to, say, 90. Okay, and we'll come down here, and we'll do an insert and just a new MIDI item. Now, I don't have a MIDI keyboard hooked up right now, so I'm just going to edit it using the on-screen. So here's the note that it's going to play. Like so, and that is ultimately being controlled over here. So instead of doing a saw wave, let's just do an organ. So at least it's not quite completely ear bleeding. And go back over here. So there you see the notes we're talking about. So I'm going to just paint a few notes in our DAW, just so we have something to play with. These are almost all double notes. Again, we'll do a triple here. And then I'll do a couple singles because I can. And then let's go just down a couple. And over here. All right, there we go. So there is our song as we created it. So we're done with the keyboard. And let's just... I didn't want to fade it. I wanted to resize it. All right, so that'll fade it out. I didn't actually mean to fade it out like that. So let's just get rid of that. All right, there we go. So there is our song as it stands right now. Again, you have been warned. Let's play what we've got. Now, I guess from the very beginning, not from there. All right, so here we go. So it's not as bad as I was imagining. All right, so here we are back in the land of Surge. And I'm going to use entirely patches. This means that whatever I'm working with here was created by somebody else. All of these settings over here, you can control the oscillators, the chaining of filters together, and so on and so forth. So for example, we wanted to mess with the pitch. We can go over here. There's the pitch in action, or scene pitch, like so. Or skew it vertically, or so on. You can set a filter on it and create massively different results from what you're working with. Again, I have no real confidence in any way whatsoever. So again, I'm going to use presets here, and you can see some of the stuff we've got. So let's say, for example, I wanted to implement a flute. There we go. There's a flute. It sets up everything for us. This should approximate what a flute sounds like, and let's check that out. Okay. Kind of fluty. Then you got a number of contributors that have implemented their own patches as well. So for example, drum sets, classic snare. Let's see what that sounds like. So obviously, vastly different sounds coming out of the synths, but there's a ton of things included here. So here we go. Let's see what this sounds like. Yeah, that might be borderline causing some bleeding of the brain. Now, you notice over here, you can also add in effects. So come down here, a number of effects are applied. These can also be used separately, so you could use the effect only if you wish. So let's say we want to have a flanger, and we'll do a slow more, so a flanger on there. And all right, I did warn you. You can also, again, like I said, apply the effects directly over here. So like so. So if you just want to do the effects, you could work with the effects alone as well. You do not need to use this as a synth. You can also use this for the effects that are available. So if you want to apply an EQ, for example, that is an option there as well. So that is the extent of what I'm going to do in terms of me actually playing with it. Because again, I don't want there to be too much blood caused by this video. If you are interested in checking out Surge XT, it is available at surge-synthesizer.github.io. I will link that out there. In terms of actually figuring out how to work with it, the nice thing here is there is a very good manual that kind of walks you through all of the various different aspects. You can see a breakdown of, the patch global settings are up here, scene controls are over here, the effects are all handled over here, modulation and routing is handled down there at the bottom. Kind of walks you through how a scene works, how to work with various different components. It is very well documented. So if you want to get into how to actually create your own sounds using the synth, and you don't just want to use, all of the prefabs, which is 100% legit. You can use this basically just as providing you instruments. One more ear bleed. You have those options available to you, or you can basically. So again, if you're like me, you can quite literally just use the defaults and live a happy life. But if you want to get into actually setting up and creating your own sounds, it is extremely well documented, as you can see there. It is also an open source project. It is GPL v3, which means if you do make changes to it yourself, you are going to have to release the source code. Just do be aware there definitely are some limitations there. There was a fresh release. I think this was yesterday as of when I'm recording this. No, that's not what I wanted. Releases. They have moved. Okay, so they're not available here, but the Surge was just released again. The newest version was just yesterday or the day before, I believe. As you can see, it's very frequently updated. There's a number of people in the community working on it. There's 51 contributors now on this one. If you want to get into it, it's C and C++, by the way, is the source code for implementing these things. This is not the only option out there. If you're looking for other synths, there's Odin 2, another big one in the community, also coincidentally built on top of Juice Audio Framework. And then there is also the Vital Spectral Warping Wavetable synth I covered a little while back. It's not fully free, but it has a very functional free tier if you want to go ahead and check that one out. And then again, I thought I had a document on Juice available, but Juice is an audio programming framework. This guy, Surge XT, was actually just ported to run on top of Juice with this newest release. Oh, so here's my release date right there. So it's the 18th, and I'm recording this on the 21st. So it was released just a couple of days back. Again, available for Linux, Mac, and Windows. Open source, completely free, GPL v3 licensed. Synthesizer, you want to go ahead and check it out. Available basically for your DAW of choice out there. And hopefully the blood isn't flowing too bad. And yeah, that's it. Surge XT. Let me know what you think. Comments down below. I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.